What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back. And wow. We're back here on the main channel. Usually all of my Eagles content goes on my secondary channel, more C4. Go give that a subscribe. It's in the video description below because that's not only where all my Eagles content goes. But after seeing the GTA 6 trailer, I'm going to have to just make GTA content because I'm going to play that game for 6 months straight, and that'll all go up on the secondary channel. So we're on our way to 5,000 subscribers over there. That would be pretty cool. But for back-to-back weeks, last week in San Francisco, felt like that was main channel worthy of a reaction. This one here, because it's not only going to be a reaction to this game, but kind of my state of the Eagles right now, who are on slight fraud alert. I like to say the good rants. Might as well bring it here in the main show. I was going to release a reaction after the game last night, because obviously the passion's never at the rage is never at a higher point, but also too many solids were consumed to make a coherent video. I tried. I was like, no, we'll sleep on this, let this all manifest so that a proper rage can be manifested Monday morning. So that's where we are right now. So we're going to talk about the game. I'm going to break down the offense. I'm going to talk about what I think about the offense overall. We're going to break down the defense, talk about the defense overall, and why the Eagles are, I don't know, hopefully I'm conflicted. I'm a conflicted fan right now. Because on one hand, I thought this team was, my prediction was 14-3 for the Eagles this year. That's still in the cards. That is, some fans still expect that Seattle, Giants twice in Arizona, that's our remaining schedule. We're going to run the table, and we're going to go 14-3. So, like, if that happens, which Philly's going to at least be favored in all those games, what am I complaining about? It's the exact record I would have expected, and I was already getting shit on. They're like, there's no way they do that after the Super Bowl loss. So that's, like, on one hand, they're still on pace to be as good as I kind of thought they were going to be. But there's just no denying the fact that, like, these two losses you just can't have against Dallas and San Francisco. Yes, the gauntlet. Everyone wants to talk about the gauntlet. But, like, every good team ever gets hard schedules, right? Sure, this stretch of Philadelphia is insane. Kansas City, Dallas, San Francisco, Dallas, Buffalo. And I guess, you definitely can still throw Seattle. Tack them on the end as a little cherry on top. They're not an easy game. That's because Philly hasn't beat them in like 20 years or something like that. We were never going to win that whole stretch. That is very, very difficult. Those are all playoff games. We just straight up have been playing We've been playing playoff caliber games since November. But losing the two top teams in the NFC, right? It's just... It does feel like the Eagles have been exposed a little bit because what the San Francisco 49ers utilized a lot, exact same thing Dallas utilized. And it's very worrisome because Philadelphia's offense has been the same for better or worse for the last 2 years. I'm not one that's going to immediately pile on the fire Brian Johnson train. Everyone's jumping on that, and I do think that there is some good blame going on Brian, but this is still Nick Sirianni's offense. And the Nick Sirianni offense is trust your good players to make plays. That's what worked last year, and this year it's not working as much. And that's why the Philadelphia Eagles look like there's that drop-off. Last year and this year, our offensive scheme is let Jalen Hurts make plays, let A.J. Brown make plays, let Devontae Smith make plays, and let now DeAndre Swift, when he gets a goddamn opportunity to make some plays. That is our offense. If you watch Dallas, they get and move CeeDee Lamb all over the field. They move Jake Ferguson. They get him fucking wide open every time they play Dallas. He's just running open in the middle of the field. They use Cavante. Anytime Cavante Turpin gets the ball, this is good for, it almost feels like 20 yards every time. Every single time, get him in and out of the backfield, kind of, they create ways for their players to make plays. And they have good players. And that is the difference between Philadelphia right now and the contenders in the NFL. Right? Because sometimes, and the reason why I don't think I'm putting Philadelphia on fraud watch is we have good wins. People are comparing us to the Vikings. People are comparing us to that, like, terrible Pittsburgh Steelers team. Philadelphia has good wins. We beat Dallas. We beat Buffalo in an epic overtime win. We beat Miami. We have beaten, and Miami was in that gauntlet. We've beaten Kansas City. Like, those are 4 legitimate wins. Those are 4 wins that if this team wasn't good, we would have been exposed in those matchups. But those are 4 wins where our good players made plays, and we had either luck with the other team making mistakes, lack of execution on the other team's standpoint, had some ref nonsense go our way, which I think this game was a prime example of that football karma going the other way, because the refs were pretty bad against it. Like how many just gigantic calls went against it. Like they picked up 2 penalties in favor of Dallas that ended up being a touchdown and a field goal. Basically, the refs spotted the Cowboys 10 points, which was fucking brutal. Had a real soft OPI on AJ Brown, brutal. And then you throw in the fact we had 3 fumbles: Jalen Hurts fumble, AJ Brown fumble, Devontae Smith fumble. You can't expect to win games like that, man. It's just. But Philly's not a fraud team. We're on fraud alert, not officially a fraud team. Right now we're on fraud alert because the Niners and the Cowboys have exposed how you can beat the Philadelphia Eagles. You know how you stop this Philadelphia game plan of having their good players make plays? You blitz the shit out of the Eagles because Philly doesn't have any blitz beaters. Our plays are still, let's get some form of long developing play for A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Hope the offensive line, which is still one of the best in football, can pick up and hold on for 10 seconds for Jalen Hurts to hit a shot downfield. Has this team ever... We need to get Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson to watch my YouTube channel. Have you guys ever heard of the audible to a fucking slant? Huh? Have you ever heard of that? Because I sure as shit can imagine a gigantic pissed off A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith just right across the middle of the field. I bet that would counter these fucking blitzes. How about we... Not every other team has superstars. Not every team's going to have Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw in the middle of the field. You can attack these teams over the middle with quick throws. Do they know that? Do they know that you could scheme players open the way that Dallas does with CeeDee Lamb? The way that Miami does with Tyreek Hill? The way that every fucking Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, all these guys get schemed open. But in Philadelphia, it's just... Let's have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith run downfield. Hopefully Jalen Hurts gets 10 seconds to throw the football, and we get a big shot play. Like, it's over. It's over for that. You have to now put your big pants on. These coaches need to coach. These coaches need to scheme something for this offense that isn't just reliant on, like, well, we got good players, and they'll figure it out. Like, there's not a lot of coaching going on both. That's the biggest overall issue that I have with this Eagles team. Where is the coaching? Because it feels like on both offense and defense, they're just like, the players will figure it out. They're good. Like, no, motherfucker. That works when you're playing the bad teams. That probably will work in the stretch of the Giants twice and the Cardinals. Maybe not against Seattle. That's a tough game. People are sleeping on that. In games that we have better talent, it's going to work. But if you have a good scheme, if you have a good counter, that is why we fucking lost to the Jets. If you have a good counter to make this whole system of just our good players are going to make plays. As soon as you fucking punch that in the mouth with a blitz, it's over. That is what the Jets did. They blitzed. They made Jalen Hurts' life a living hell, made him get rid of the ball quickly. He had turnovers. What did the Niners do? Same shit. What did the Cowboys do last night? Same shit. The blueprint is out. Now it's all about how Philadelphia responds. The coaches need to fucking coach. Offensive grades, Jalen Hurts, 18 of 27, 197 yards at 30 yards on the ground. Had that very costly fumble on the opening drive. Very apparent this game was going to be the defense did not look themselves in the mirror, did not grind, and looked terrible. And we had to trade points. And Dallas got a touchdown on the opening drive. Philly got the ball, drove well, fumble. Oh, and like as soon as that fumble happened, and it's like, all right, Dallas got the ball, kicked the field goal. Let's go. Second quarter, go down the field, and it's the Niners all over again. Can't fucking get anything going in the red zone, settling for field goals. You know, the offense is bad, man. It is down bad. I don't know. You just gotta get a coach. You gotta scheme these guys open, and you know it worked last year. This is nothing new. This is why I'm not deflecting all the blame on Brian Johnson, because it's still Nick Sirianni. He's an offensive head coach, and be it Shane Steichen, who we miss and love dearly, or Brian Johnson, Nick Sirianni is still at the top of that pyramid, and his scheme has been my big players are going to make plays. That's what worked last year. It's not working this year. Teams are just making it difficult for Philadelphia to hit the shot play. And we're not scheming any of these guys open. We're just still relying on them to make the big jump ball, make the big shot play. The offensive line fucking can protect Jalen Hurts longer than any O-line in the NFL can do for their own quarter. It's not sustainable, essentially, again, and especially against really good teams. So I give Jalen Hurts last night a C. He's not the reason why we lost. I think the wide receivers kind of hurt him a little bit, could have made some plays, but ultimately he didn't elevate this offense. Ultimately, he's not going to be a quarterback. We need to come to the realization. You think of like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. They get a shitty call in, right? The thing that's not going to work, they'll fucking audible of that 2 seconds in. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, he's running the system. He's running the scheme, and you're not seeing a lot of Jalen Hurts being like, fuck this, rah-rah on the sideline, fucking chewing into asses of his teammates. He just sits there and waits. And, that's his mantra. Fine, that's the guy he is. But when change needs to be sparked, I'm not seeing a lot of, what I need out of Jalen Hurts to spark that change. Seems like Jalen Hurts, at least in-game, is let's stick with the game plan. Keep the main thing. Trust the process. It's the standard. The standard fucking sucks right now, man. They gotta figure it out. Run game was non-existent in the second half. Can't really, incomplete. I'll give them a C. And you can't get fooled by the box score here for the receiver. 9 for 94 for A.J. Brown. Had a drop. That should have been a 30-yard gain. Put us in goal to go. Had a fumble, which was inexcusable, especially for a strong-ass motherfucker like him. Him and Jalen Hurts are they should be, there's no way they fumble. They're the strongest goddamn players, at their respective position. Ball security, terrible. Devontae Smith dropped it, I'm not going to say it was a drop. It was a tough catch and grab, but had a touchdown, go right through his hands. Had a fumble as well. Definitely nice having Dallas Goedert back in, but ultimately, C. I think C's across the board here for the offense. It was not good. And overall, my thoughts on the offense going into the final month of the season and a playoff run is we need to see some coaching. We need to see quick throws. We need to see a way to counter the blitz. The blueprint is out on how to stifle this Eagles offense. And that on top of the fact that this offense has been shaky at best since week 1 and it's still the same product near the end of the season, not good enough. Looking at the defense. Same thing. I don't want to just spend another 10 minutes repeating what I just said, but it's just, where's the scheme? We have not had a good game plan since the Miami game. It has been, and I think we've been, the Kansas City game wasn't bad, but, what's the game plan here? We have a good D-line. But the D-line, you know how you neutralize a good D-line is you throw the football really quickly. All these teams that we're playing right now, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, they just attack the middle of the field. They put CeeDee Lamb in the slot for a quick throw. They put the tight end, Ferguson, and George Kittle the week before. Just wide open, fucking middle of the field, picking on the linebackers. You pick on the linebackers. You pick on the slow secondary that doesn't like to tackle. That's the blueprint to beat the Eagles. They're oh, you know what? Jalen Carter. Fletcher Cox, Hassan Riddick, Josh Sweat, Jordan Davis. These guys are monsters. They're undeniable. Man, the pass rush is not firing on all cylinders right now. I think some of that is down. The team looks gassed on both sides. This team is incredibly fatigued. There's no juice whatsoever on the Eagles. But the D-line's still good, but these other teams are oh, that's all you got. If that's all you're going to get, we're going to get this ball out real quickly so you can't sniff on the quarterback and you can't slow down things so that your slow-ass corners can make some plays. Because you're sure as shit not getting coverage sacks, right? Those don't exist for this defense. The blueprint is out. The blueprint is out on how to stop the offense and the defense right now. And it just comes down to what the fuck are these coaches doing? Make the adjustments. Teams know how to beat you, and it's been 14 weeks of still just doing the same thing, right? Maybe Shaq Leonard, he barely played, so maybe he gets ramped up a little bit, and probably our best linebacking core is him and Zach Cunningham. I'm pretty damn close to just saying, fuck this, put Reed Blankenship at linebacker, and then just go Sidney Brown and Kevin Byard at safety. That would be honestly what I would do. But hopefully that makes it a little better. We're going to find out against Seattle for sure, because Seattle is going to have a pissed off DK Metcalf. He just got ejected, all that nonsense at the end of the Niners game. But defense last night, they get, shout out to Jalen Carter and Fletcher Cox. Sack fumbled. That's, this game itself, I'll throw grades out here for this. We're obviously all over the place because this is just bigger than just one game. Defense gets D+, I guess. D+, C- somewhere in that range. It was just a boring expose type game. But this game was the same as the one that Philly won, right? The game that Philly won, Dallas lost that game because they made a bunch of mistakes. Dallas wins this game because Philly made a fuck ton of mistakes. Some of it does come out in the game plan, but the 3 fumbles, the refs, bad calls going against Philly, that's going to be very, very tough to overcome, and that's why we split this series 1-1. I don't think there's a gigantic gap. I think that's the only thing that makes me feel all right, is that schematically we have failed back-to-back weeks. You can fix that. The refs went against us this game. It's just the football karma after we got the refs' favor in the Dolphins and Bills game. It happens. It's going to happen. The 10-3, 2 straight losses out of this gauntlet, it's going to happen. There's not a team in the NFL. You put the 49ers, who everyone thinks is the best team in the NFL. They probably are the best team right now in the NFL. You put the 49ers, you put the Ravens. You put them in the same gauntlet against Philly wins. They're not going undefeated. It's just too damn difficult. That is a month straight plus of playoff environment style games. But the fact of the matter is, I did not see, in terms of talent, a gigantic gap between Philly and Dallas and Philly and San Francisco. Scoreline, gigantic gap. But I think like if Philly comes to play, plays mistake-free football, gets an inspired scheme, we're as good as any team in the NFL. But being as good on paper and playing as good is entirely different things, and we are not playing even remotely as well. So it's not this doom and gloom. Like, so many people are ready to write off the Eagles. Eagle fans are ready to write. If this team plays like this, we're obviously not going to go particularly far in the playoffs, but we're still 10-3. We still control our destiny. Just coaches need to coach. That is my big takeaway throughout this whole season, is just this arrogance that, honestly, the coaches, right? Howie Roseman has been our coach. Because right now, all I've seen on both sides of the football is just trust that our players are going to make plays and not a team effort between talented players and talented play calling. Like, these things have not combined yet for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think to end with a little bit of like, we said this year and last year, still the same kind of thing, right? But like last year with Shane Steichen, he made things simple for Jalen Hurts. He made this offense for Jalen Hurts. We were running an automatic offense. Jalen Hurts got a nice new Ferrari with an automatic engine. Super fast, better than all these other cars just because Howie Roseman gave Jalen Hurts this Ferrari. But at least it was an automatic. You close your eyes, hit the gas, and go. This year, we had the same Ferrari, but with a rookie offensive coordinator. It's now standard, and Jalen Hurts doesn't know how to drive stick. So it's sloppy. It's not working as good. It's not as efficient. And we're going to have to teach Jalen Hurts to ride stick. And you know how you do that? You know how you get him to figure out how to drive stick? You get him with a better scheme. You give him a blueprint. You give him an easy way to learn how to not stall this fucking car out and stall these goddamn drives in the red zone. Coaches need to coach. Hopefully we see it against Seattle on Monday. That's all I really got. Love to hear what the Eagle fans think. Love to hear how every other fan would like to say that we're fraudulent, even though we're 10-3. It's rare territory. Jalen Hurts never lost 2 games in a row. Again, just big picture, it's not the end of the world. The sky's not falling. This is the first time in Jalen Hurts' career that he's lost 2 games back-to-back. We have been incredibly spoiled with wins. It is now time to face some true adversity at the end of this gauntlet. But for me, and while everyone's doom and glooming about the players and this, I honestly, I'm going to go to bat and defend the players. I think the biggest issue on both sides of this football is the coaching. Nick Sirianni, Brian Johnson, Sean Desai, fucking coach. Come up with a goddamn scheme. Help these players out. And I think we can right the ship. So let me know what you guys think about the comment section below. As always, your first time stop by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. But more importantly, if you are into the Eagles content, follow my secondary channel, more C4 in the video description. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. I'm going to try. We have actually 100, I don't know how to do the conversion to American, but we got like 100-kilometer winds coming. I'm probably going to lose power. But if I don't lose power, the plan is to get Cardinals off-season started and out tomorrow. So ideally that doesn't happen. And I'll see you guys back then tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace. I love you. Have a good one.